So Lily, sorry you get to hear this again, but do you guys know in like TV shows and stuff where you have two protagonists, the main characters, and they're both hip and young, and they like are kind of flirty with one another, but you're not really sure, and you're kind of stuck in this will they, won't they situation. Like it's pretty common in shows, right? Like it's almost a cliche or a trope, if you will. Uh, Dallas Cowboys, it turns out, are the will they, won't they of my world, and we have an answer all of a sudden. They won't this year is the answer, unfortunately, after yesterday. But at least we don't have to wait to see the conclusion any longer. I'm really mad about it. But that's okay. All right. So we left off last class and we said, hey, let's apply the triangle inequality to some angles in a triangle. And what we noticed is that the longest side is always opposite from the longest angle in a right triangle. What's the smallest angle here? B or A? B. So this is certainly the smallest. So we'll just say small or smallest angle happens to be straight across the triangle from the what? And I like shortest feels more natural to me, but you could say smallest, but shortest side. Now, in the second situation, we drew an equilateral, and it didn't have to be an equilateral. It was just by happenstance. In that triangle, what's the shortest or what's the longest side? And it's a weird question. If we move to the acute triangle, what's the shortest side of that? So give me a number. 5. So in this case, and we can draw the non-equilateral example as well, but do you agree that one could argue that this is the smallest angle or the largest or both? Like in this situation, notice if all the angles are exactly the same, all the sides must be the same or congruent. Now, this one, the example's fine, it's a good thought, but I do still think that if we said that this is the smallest angle, then this is the smallest side. Or if this is the largest angle, and we could switch. But to make it a little bit more clear, let's draw a nice acute triangle. So let's say it's this wonderful thing. We need to make sure it's not 90 degrees. So that looks like it'll cover it. And I don't want it to be isosceles. I really struggle to draw an acute triangle, apparently. That's an acute triangle now, right? Okay, if we put some lengths on here, and I'm just going to label this A, B, and C so it's nice to talk about, I'm just going to put lengths on. What do you want me to say AB is, or side C? Let's say that one's, I don't know, 8. Is this side longer or shorter, if we trust the picture? I think it's shorter. Maybe it's 7. Now, in my mind, this looks about the same. Do you guys agree with that? So maybe this is still special triangle, but it doesn't have to be. We could call this 7.1 or 6.8 if you really want to. Can you guys tell me, just based on this, if you can trust my measurements, what's the biggest angle on this triangle? Angle C. Why? It's across from this longest side. If this side's 8 and these are both 7, the longest side is opposite from the largest angle. So we'll just go ahead and say the same thing here. Longest, which means that this angle right here is the biggest. Now, if we did this, and I don't know for sure, but I'm just making it up, let's change this very bottom one to 7.1. What's the smallest angle on this triangle then? As soon as we commit to that 7.1. A must be the smallest angle. Why? So here's my shortest side, and here's the small angle. Now, I'm okay with skipping this if need be. Does the same thing hold true here? Ray, what's the longest side of this triangle? What? Why? Ooh. Maybe I'm just terrible at scale. That's a good point though, Ray. I was not expecting that. I want to really point out how awesome what Ray just said is. Ray said it's not a triangle and I doubted him. And then immediately realize that he was right. Why does that triangle not exist? I drew it on the board, so you're going to be tempted to say, no, it does exist. Look, you just drew it. But it doesn't. This triangle's broken. We're going to have to change something. If you take the two shorter sides, what do they add up to? But they have to be greater than what? So check it out. I wasn't wrong. I just had a typo because clearly this is 14 and I just can't draw to scale. Cool. Now, there's very few places where I like to say that I do love trick questions, but now that that's here, the first one was an accident, just so you know. Ray caught it. Good on you. Based on this, it's a really good kind of example to say, don't trust your scales ever. Right? Like the triangle didn't exist and I drew it. I was wrong. Great catch, by the way. I'm going to be bragging about you to Fifth Hour also. But as we look at this, what's the biggest angle if I name these real quick? A and B and C. What's the biggest angle? C. What's the smallest angle? A. And we can see that it just happens to coincide, once again, with the exact side of the triangle that it's opposite from. Now, as we look at these inequalities feel okay, feel awful? What do you guys think? All right, let me get a geometry book because that one's algebra. Actually, I think this is my geometry book. I just put the wrong test in there. Okay, so we've not had any assignment for this section yet, I don't believe. I may call this the very last section that we look at, but we'll just see how it goes. What I want you guys to do now, I'm going to get us some stuff printed, just in case we ultimately go that way, but I want you to work through a few of these problems. And let's see which ones we want. So I'll put it up here. We get a lot of time to kind of chill and work today. Homework. Last homework of the semester, I'm fairly confident. 5.4. You will find this waiting for you lovingly on page 235. And I want you guys to do problems 15. That's a good one. And then let's go ahead and do 18 through 28 even. 18 through 28 even. All right. I am cool with those. Do we want a super fun word problem here, though? Well, that didn't convince me. Fear is good for the soul. I don't know if that's true or not. Yep, I'm good with those. Cool. I want you guys to get started on this. My hope is that by 11 we'll be done with it. I think we will. Cool. I'm going to give you guys some time. I'm going to turn on some hip-hop Christmas music, and let's see where we get to.